So anyway, then we watched Vengeance over at Craig's house. As mentioned, there were 10 freaking people there. That's a record. Buddy showed up with Caden, and we ordered pizza. That was a new one.
The fact that we had to provide our own food at Craig's house was unsettling.
Well, no, it wasn't, because his wife is about to give birth at any moment.
That's true. She actually may be producing the child as we speak.
Craig called as we were moments from Pinnacle and was like, my wife is having strong contractions. The pay-per-view may be off. And I should have known that Buddy's first reaction was, oh, no. He had very little initial sympathy for the idea of...
I would say zero. In fact, his first 2 words were, that fuck.
He didn't mean that. But he's a father. He understands. But anyway, the contractions were many hours apart, so we ended up going over there, and Buddy was hungry, so we ordered a number of pizzas, I believe 4 to be exact, which were rapidly devoured, including by people who initially, when we asked who wants pizza, about 4 people raised their hands, and strangely enough, 8 people went for the pizza when it arrived.
That's true.
And I was ready to attack those people violently. But luckily I'd eaten a double quarter pounder with cheese and fries just hours earlier, so I only needed about 6 pieces of pizza as opposed to my usual 12.
I only got 3.
Sucks to be you, dude.
Sucks to be me. I've had 3 slices of pizza and a chicken sandwich today. That's like 8,000 calories or something. I don't know.
It was
looking at me, thinking, pitying me for wasting away.
I was looking at you like,
this poor bastard.
Good God, you need.
How is he going to thrive? How's he going to survive?
How would you survive if there was a famine? For
Probably
months.
Very well.
For months, actually, but so Vengeance, it was a good show. I mean, it was a show. It was just a tiring show, but looking back on it, I think if we watched it again fresh, it would be a good show.
All I remember is we kind of touched on this earlier, but during the 3-way Intercontinental title match, I almost dozed off. And
I almost dozed off several times.
Yeah, and then we talked about it. I thought it was just me. I thought, wow, I've had a long week. I was falling asleep during a pay-per-view. And now we're talking about it. Everyone in the room was near sleep at some point.
Yeah,
it's hard to say that's a good show.
Well, no.
Nothing was terribly wrong.
Vince, that could have been Ultimate Fight Night, and I would have fallen asleep during the Kendall Grove match. You do not understand how tired I am right now. Still right now. I've got a second win for this show.
Okay, that explains you. What about everyone else in the room?
Okay, here I'm going to explain this to you. And everyone else on the board that lives in a hot climate is going to explain this to you as well. The hot sun, Vince, is draining.
Yes.
And we were in a hot car from Everett to Renton to Craig's house, just absorbing heat, literally for about 2 hours. And we got into Craig's house, and even with air conditioning, it was very, very hot on a Sunday afternoon, and everybody in the room was about to doze off. It was not a result of the show. It was a result of the sweltering heat. And as a person who lives in Seattle and doesn't have many hot days, perhaps you'd forget this, but I've been deathly tired all weekend, and it has not all been because of this fucking schedule. It's just so damn hot out. It takes the energy out of you. I mean, really the only reason I have any sort of energy now is it's cooled off.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
I'm solar powered.
Yes, everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone's solar powered.
Well, that means when the sun comes out, you should have more energy.
Yeah, but it also drains you. You were overcharged. You were like an overcharged battery, which sometimes dies. You overinflate a tire, it pops. You get too much sun, and you get tired. Just go on with the goddamn review.
This is a very boring conversation. Let's talk about the show.
Everyone on the board will side with me, unlike last night when they turned on me about the word one misplaced which was an
It's not the it's the fact that you denied it.
Well, no, I knew I did it.
I fucking know.
No, I didn't really. Let's go on.
What happened on Vengeance?
No, I just want an overall review of the show.
Tiring.
I'm gonna kick your ass!
If you don't get talking.
There was no Scott Steiner on it, unfortunately. Tiring. Mild thumbs down. Nothing horrible, but nothing I really want to see again.
You're tired.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a little break here, Vince, and I'm going to cheer you up while I do it. Now that I think about it, there could have been a natural explosion. Perhaps it was St. Elmo's fire. What do you think of them apples?
Turn my volume back up.
You were doing too much singing. It was unacceptable.
What kind of asshole will not like that song?
Vince, I didn't say I didn't like the song. I said the song...
I wasn't referencing you. I know there's people out there that don't like that song. I don't understand how it's possible.
They don't exist. It's cheap.
It's too uplifting.
It's heels.
It's
Trolls is what it is.
It's an uplifting, positive... I'm refreshed. Let's go. Vengeance. I didn't like it.
Who's the man coughing in the background?
What the hell was that? Oh, that's Vince laughing with Draws puking in the background.
Oh, is that
from,
noise?
From Beyond the Mat.
Where's your ass? I didn't have an ass.
It opened up with Kurt Angle versus Randall Orton. Randall K. Orton. Kenneth, I believe, is his middle name. We never actually figured that out, but that's my, I believe, Kenneth. They had a good match, not a great match. It was very mat-based early, and then Angle did a bunch of stupid shit like suplexes on the...
German suplex on the floor.
That was dumb. At first he was being very careful not to take flat back bumps, even when throwing suplexes, and then he threw 8 Germans in a row and landed on his back each time.
Yeah.
I thought, you are very, very dumb. The finish was the buckle being exposed, and Angle went headfirst into it, and then Randy hit him with the RKO and pinned him.
That was that.
I would not have booked this. This was...
It did seem odd to me.
Monumentally dumb. I mean, why...
I'll tell you why, but go ahead.
Tell me why.
Well, you see, young Randall's going to be feuding with Hunter. Therefore, he needs to be put over strong going into it.
Oddly enough, I did type that, but that's still... I did not find that an acceptable excuse.
Well, I'm not saying it's an acceptable excuse. I'm just saying that's why.
This whole thing is... This show was the beginning of the end of ECW.
It really was.
Actually, it was, and I'm not going to go there. I'm not one of those people that sees gloom and doom because of one show. But I will say that this show was a major setback for ECW because everybody in ECW on this show lost except Rob Van Dam, and he's probably losing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that ain't good stuff. ECW will be going into their TV show with 2 pay-per-view losses and a Raw main event loss, and
that's bad.
And I don't think they realize how stupid this is, or they wouldn't have done this.
They wouldn't have done it.
Why Kurt Angle would become the new Kurt Angle and be pushed as the top star in ECW, and then come over to this show and lose to Randy Orton? Idiotic. Idiocy.
His 3rd or 4th match is the new Kurt Angle. Yes, idiocrity. Yep, he got pinned clean by Randy right in the middle of the ring.
That was dumb. I like to say right in the middle of the ring like that. It's more clean if the screw job occurs in the middle of the ring than near the ropes.
Well, yeah.
No. A screw job is a screw job no matter where it occurs, Vince.
Fine.
Should know anything about ring psychology?
Obviously not.
Listen to the Buddy Wayne show. Then we had Umaga versus Eugene. Horrible, as expected. I predicted that.
No, you could not possibly have expected how this went.
Well, what happened was they had 3 goofs come out.
Well, Eugene came down. 4 goofs counting Eugene. And Eugene waved to the back for reinforcements, and out came Hacksaw. Not a surprise. We've all seen Hacksaw around. But Eugene knew Hacksaw would not be enough to face Umaga, so he called out...
And of the 3, he was in the best shape, I might add.
Oh, yeah. Well, he should be.
Why? He's 46 with 1 kidney
Hacksaw.
And he's retired.
Hacksaw. I thought you meant Eugene.
No.
Okay, yeah. Well, he called out goof number 2, who was Doink the Clown. Doink came out. Doink was happy to be there. And then Eugene decided he needed more help and called out Kamala, the Ugandan giant Kamala, who sadly did not sing. He just came out and patted his belly. So with the circus behind him, Eugene was promptly squashed by Umaga.
Yes.
Killed and murdered dead. Hit with a spike. And then the sideshow hit the ring and tried to make the save, and Hacksaw got spiked, and Doink the Clown got spiked, and then Kamala climbed in the ring, and Umaga backed down.
From Kamala.
Kamala. The Ugandan giant Kamala.
Indeed.
Yes, they are building up now a confrontation between Umaga and Kamala. Kamala is going to be the man who takes Umaga down.
No, he's not.
I know he's not, but they want you to think he is.
This was mind-bogglingly dumb. At this point, I was like, this is one bad show. So then we had Foley doing a promo, and no longer is it, I'm going to have the worst match of all time.
Now
it was, I'm going to out-wrestle Ric Flair in his hometown.
He, in 90 seconds, did everything he should have done in the weeks prior to the show, except it was on the show, and anyone who would have seen it would have already bought it.
Yes, they gave up on the idea of selling this as a bad match, but they gave up on the idea after you'd either bought or not bought the show. This was ingenious. So then they had the match. It was 2 out of 3 falls. Flair won the first fall with a small package, after Foley tried the figure 4 leg lock. By the way, the transition spot there was Ric Flair went off the top with an axe handle, pretending like he blew out his knee.
Yeah.
So the heat was he's
old.
He's old
and he broke.
He's old and fragile.
Yes.
That was a good one. So Foley went for the figure 4, and Flair rolled him up, pinned him. Second fall, that went about 3 minutes, by the way. Second fall also went 3 minutes when something happened.
Flair got the figure 4, but Foley had a garbage can, I think.
Hit him for the DQ.
Mm-hmm.
So Ric Flair won in 2 straight falls in 6 minutes.
Yes.
This was, in fact, a horrible match.
It was. It was a total waste.
Mick Foley was correct. He had a horrible match with Ric Flair.
Yes.
So, Foley, good job, dude.
Way to go, yes. And he proceeded to whip out a barbed wire bat and attack Ric Flair with it, and Ric Flair gigged and bled everywhere, as he is wont to do.
This was good.
This was a very good one, yes.
Because it wasn't Charlotte, so it made sense that Flair would be humbled and humiliated afterwards. But the people were mortified. There were people in the stands mortified at what had happened to Richard Flair. So this was good stuff. And he was taken to the back, and this feud must continue.
Yes.
Hopefully it will improve, because so far it has sucked,
yes.
with the exception of one promo.
The one note, I want to talk about the promo on this show a little bit. We said it was good. We didn't say why it was good. Mick Foley held up Ric Flair's book and quoted the passage on him, and read it aloud what Ric Flair wrote about him, and now everyone would understand why Mick Foley would be so upset at Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And he hadn't done that before.
Well, he said it in the promo. He just didn't read it out of the book.
Did he?
Yeah. He said Flair a few years ago called me a glorified stuntman in his book.
Okay.
He just didn't actually read the passage.
They needed to do this then.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you sure you weren't just not paying attention during Raw?
Entirely possible. Well, the fact that I don't remember means they did not make it clear enough that Foley was angry about what Flair wrote in his book.
Johnny Nitro, I'm just going to move on because this is going to erupt into a gigantic argument. But I actually remember specifically him saying that and making it very clear in that promo. So you may have just fallen asleep for 5 minutes.
God, I hope so.
Johnny Nitro, Shelton Benjamin, and Carlito in a 3-way for the IC title. I have to admit I underestimated these men. It wasn't a great match by any stretch of the imagination, but they did a far better job than I expected.
There were some damn cool spots in this.
And I will say that the right man won. Johnny Nitro is the only one of the 3 that has really shown anything special in the last 2 years. Really. I shouldn't. Shelton was good till about 6 months ago. Carlito is just...
He looked good tonight.
Well...
Sometimes. When he was required to, for example, run the ropes or hit clotheslines, he looked bad.
When he had to do a flippy do,
when he
fine.
did a wacky dive, it was cool.
Yes. Other than that, he was horrific, and he's getting worse.
He was very RVD-esque in that way.
Yes. And Johnny Nitro stole the pin from Carlito after Carlito hit Shelton with the backcracker. Pretty good little match, but, nothing to write home about.
No, better it's just,
so to speak.
Just a highlight reel.
To beat a dead horse. Vince met with the Spirit Squad, told them that DX was a disease like that bird flu. Yes. Vince McMahon always on top of current events.
Yes.
He said they would be the cure tonight. They did this little cheer, and then they did a wacky deal where he kind of decided maybe I'll take this penis pump into the bathroom. This was, by the way, the epitome of the invisible camera syndrome. He had to look around all over the room except right into the camera, basically. Mm-hmm. So, of course, the deal blew up, and there was green slime all over his face.
It was a bomb.
It was a rib.
It was a booby-trapped penis pump, as Jerry Lawler said.
Is that what he said?
He actually used those words.
Wow. Here's a drop for you. Edge versus RVD for the WWE title. Well, I don't know what happened, but Edge may just all of a sudden have found himself out of the loop. A lot of speculation that Edge was going to get the title and feud with Cena through the summer. Now it appears Cena may just be getting the damn belt back, which
who the fuck knows?
I can't explain this.
It would have made a lot of sense for Edge to win the belt here.
They had a good match. Actually, no, it wouldn't have on this particular show because every ECW guy would have lost on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's true.
But this match was better than it would have been because they killed each other.
Yes.
Had they not put in the spots where they killed each other, this would have probably just been an average, a little better than average match. But they put in a few spots that sort of, I hate them, but it brings the match up. I mean, when you here's what happened. Here's the big spot. They're outside the ring, and Edge hooked RVD for a powerbomb. And I'm like, don't powerbomb him on the floor. Just don't. It's not worth it. Rob Van Dam's got a family. Don't powerbomb the poor fucking guy. So he didn't. Instead, he powerbombed him on the fucking barricade.
Oh, God. Yes.
I mean, remember, like...
He did powerbomb on the floor earlier.
You wouldn't remember this.
I was thinking that, but...
You wouldn't remember this, but there was a period where a big spot in Japan was when you'd powerbomb the dude into the turnbuckles. Mm-hmm. It's like this big deal. Oh, my God, he got powerbombed into the padded turnbuckle.
I'm aware of it.
Well, now, when you get powerbombed into a padded turnbuckle, it looks horrible, but it is padded, and the turnbuckle does give.
Yes.
This barricade was probably a little bit padded, but it did not give.
No.
This was... Rob Van Dam will live 5 years less than he was going to live before today. I'm sure of it. That took 5 years off his life.
It was brutal.
It was...
And it was after Edge did the sunset powerbomb to the floor.
Yes.
So, yes, RVD took a wicked beating. There was a Van Daminator here with a belt that got kicked right in Edge's eye.
I got to say one thing about Rob Van Dam and his bumps, though. That bump probably won't take 5 years off his life. Or the power bomb on the floor. Because I realize it's funny to say, I don't think Rob Van Dam's a drug addict.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. You're right.
I don't know.
I think we can pretty much say that he smokes marijuana at this point. I don't think that's a big secret.
I would never say and make such an accusation.
He's been in High Times magazine.
He may smoke cigarettes, but let's not jump out on a limb here.
All right.
But the point is, I don't think Rob Van Dam is a major steroid abuser, or maybe even a major steroid user. When everybody started to change rapidly during the drug testing, he didn't. And he's always really looked about the same. And he's never really looked that spectacular. He's just got a good build. Mm-hmm. He could, and a guy, you know, I was talking to Lance Storm about this on the show. He has never really had any injuries.
Rob, you mean?
No. Did I talk to Rob Van Dam on the show?
Well, no, I thought you said Lance said Rob had never had any injuries.
No, Lance has never had many injuries.
Okay.
And either has Rob.
We had one broken leg. That was it.
But the point, and that has nothing to do with steroid-related injuries.
No.
The point is Lance Storm is natural, and he's never had injuries either. Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys like Dynamite Kid, they took stupid bumps, and they also took every drug under the sun.
Yes.
So, may not shorten Rob Van Dam's career, but he needs to stop doing that bullshit, because he's going to get killed. But anyway, the point was they did all sorts of stuff. Edge eventually speared a chair. We never found out what would have happened had RVD not moved.
Presumably he would have been speared into the chair.
That would be stupid. What the hell would that have done? He would have been speared lower back first into a chair. That would have been worse than a normal spear.
Of all the moves in wrestling to look at and say, hey, that wouldn't really hurt.
No, that one just looked too contrived. Like, as soon as she put the chair up there, it was like, there is no other option except he moves.
Okay, yeah.
Because never in a million years would you spear a man into a chair. Especially, think about this. You're spearing a man into the chair, and your girlfriend's behind the chair.
Well, there's that.
So right then I knew, okay, something stupid. And sure enough, it did. And Rob hit the frog splash, got the pin, but we've all been swerved.
RVD is still champ.
Kane versus Fake Kane. Again, I expected far worse.
Halfway through here, I made some joke about wanting the pay-per-view to end, and you pointed out this could be much worse. And I said, yeah, you're right. And then it kept going, and actually at that point, it got a lot better.
This match was fine, I would go as far as to say.
That's a good word for it.
It was fine.
It was okay.
And I don't know what's going on.
Fake Kane won.
Fake Kane won.
Clean with the finisher. In the middle of the ring.
I think the Fake Kane storyline has been accelerated. It is not going to WrestleMania, I know that. I believe it will last through the end of the summer. Mm-hmm. So I think the idea is Fake Kane wins here, and then Real Kane wins at SummerSlam, and that's the end of the feud. But there were some major changes in the plans for the Fake Kane storyline after his first debut, and his costume fell apart. So that's the deal there. But it was fine.
It was just fine.
John Cena and Sabu in a lumberjack match. I said in the newsletter, I'll say it here for you cocksuckers that don't read the newsletter. John Cena should have filmed the Marine after doing this feud.
Yes.
Because you want to talk about a little bit of method acting. He has been in a war for 3 weeks. And he'd done a hell of a better job playing a Marine.
A soldier, a warrior.
A warrior after being through this damn war than before he did this war. He's just beat all to hell. Black eye, cuts all over his face. I'm sure he got his ass whipped tonight. Mm-hmm. My God, his head was busted open again hard way. chair shots to the head, chairs wrapped around his head and neck. He just took a whooping.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Raw Goofs out there as the Raw Lumberjacks, and just the whole ECW crew, who are Goofs, as the ECW Lumberjacks. And, this was also... It's pretty good.
I thought this was the best match on the show. Largely because of the atmosphere.
I actually got to look at the rest of the matches.
They introduced the ECW Lumberjacks as one, then Sabu came out, then the Raw Lumberjacks, and then Cena, and this all took several minutes, and by the time, with the tension of the Lumberjacks going at it, and Cena coming out and making his entrance and having to kind of make his way through the crowd, the fans were already into it before they ever started. And then when the finish came and Sabu tapped the SDFU, people were jumping up and down happy.
Yeah, this was very good for what it was. Sabu, I got to say this about Sabu. Dave and I were talking about the drug testing and such on the show on Thursday, and we'd made a couple of comments about how changes have been reversed and that sort of thing. I do not want to throw out any accusations, but I will say that Sabu is in remarkable shape for a man his age under a wellness policy. I noticed that tonight when I was watching this match, but, he's doing just fine.
Yes.
He is doing just fine. And Cena won clean with the tap out. I was not sure. I don't have a problem with Sabu doing the job. I sort of had a problem at this point because Angle had already done a job.
Yeah.
This was like...
The Angle decision was dumb, and this was very dumb on top of that.
Yeah, I would have... But, how else?
Well, what we noted, and I forget who pointed it out first, but immediately someone said, hey, Big Show's not one of the ECW Lumberjacks. So we figured Show would come out and cost Cena the match somehow. We were wrong.
I never even heard you say that, and it never even entered my mind.
Oh.
I think the idea was, how can you have Shaw out there as a lumberjack? He's just bigger than everybody else. It's sort of just, it doesn't work. It's unfair.
They should have had a handicapped lumberjack situation.
Well, it was only Goofs out there anyway. None of the... Hunter wasn't like out there on the Raw team.
No, Hunter was definitely not. Sandman was.
Angle wasn't out there.
No, he'd already wrestled.
So he could still come back as a lumberjack.
It was a bunch of goofs.
It was all dorks.
Yeah.
So Big Show should not have been out there. But point was, I don't know about the tap out. I would not have done that. I would have done tons of interference and shit like that. But I don't know.
We'll see. We should have had this conversation before the show, but it's funny to think that I don't think the majority of Raw fans, certainly they would not have been familiar with Sabu before this last month. They may have heard his name. They may have seen him wrestle once or twice. And going into the show, it was like, in a weird way, he's the first new star they've made in a long time. Then he lost tonight, and this conversation kind of becomes kind of moot. But
yeah, he's
the only tradition.
I just got real tired, by the way. Thank God we've only got one match left.
Yes.
I almost fell asleep there when you were doing that Sabu rant.
He's the only traditional ECW guy who they've managed to actually get over as a credible wrestler.
That's true.
They've got Sandman over as a goof who whacks guys in silly gimmicks, and the other stars are Angle and Show, who are WWE guys, and RVD, who may have spent more time in WWE than in ECW.
I'm almost certain of that, in fact.
Yeah, he's definitely had more matches there. So, yeah, Sabu was the one guy they kind of got over, and then he lost tonight.
Yeah, what can you do?
Don't know.
This was not good for ECW tonight. I don't even care if RVD won, because they immediately set up the match for Raw, so it was like, something's happening. He's likely
Something is up.
And he may not lose, they may do it again, but I don't know.
I at this point, think it'd be foolishness for him to lose.
Well, he will, probably.
I know.
DX versus the Spirit Squad. It was exactly what the people wanted.
Yes.
That's all I can say about it. Spirit Squad came out. DX came out. DX did their catchphrase, that sort of thing. Spirit Squad did their wackiness. Cut off Shawn. He was the babyface in peril. Hunter made the hot tag. Ran wild. Pedigree super kick combo finish. 1, 2, 3. Beat up all the guys afterwards. And did something to Mitch. I don't even remember what the hell they did.
More. Everyone got pedigreed and or super kicked, and then they put Mitch's face in Hunter's ass.
That's right. Hunter pulled down his trousers.
His traditional trunks, by the way. I expected him to come out in the DX gear. He had his normal trunks with a DX spray painted on them.
Yes, and they shoved Mitch's face into Hunter's ass.
Yeah.
And that just to make sure we ended on a high gaiety, high gayness tonight. So
it's about as gay as it gets.
It's back, and
I know. Going back to Pinnacle for a second, we talked about the superfans being burned out. There was a 6-man tag match at the Pinnacle show, and The end of it was a challenge was issued for the next show where Caden Matthews is going to wrestle Christopher Ryzik, and if Ryzik wins, Matthews will have to kiss Ryzik's ass, was the stipulation, which led to fans chanting, "Toss his salad."
Wow.
Yes. You may not have been down on the floor with me, you may not have heard that.
I absolutely was not.
But that was the chant that erupted.
Good God almighty. I don't need to see that match.
No.
I did hear the challenge. It's hair versus
ass kissing, yes. And the funny thing was,
so if Kane loses, he shaves his head.
Yes.
No,
wait.
If Ryzik
loses, he shaves his head.
head.
If Caden loses, he has to kiss Ryzik's ass.
I don't know who's going to win that.
I don't either.
I don't know if I can see Ryzik shaving his head. I
You see
cannot.
Caden kissing
I
his
cannot
ass?
fathom Caden kissing his ass.
Are you in fact intrigued to go see the show now?
That's true. Oh, I'm going to the show no matter what.
I know,
but that's an intriguing match.
You're trying to book this in your head now, aren't you?
I'm just trying to figure out what the hell they could do. It's going to be some sort of. They have to do the stipulation. They cannot.
I would
Possibly.
do a double count out, and Ryzik gets his head shaved, and then Matthews kisses his ass. Because I'm a dick.
Well, you are a dick. What if it's DQ and he shaves his ass?
Sure.
I'm always trying to think of different sort of angles for these sort of deals. So anyway, that was the end of the show, and I don't know. I give it a thumbs up. It was fine.
I'd say mild thumbs down, but it was not horrible.
A mild thumbs down?
Yes. I didn't like the show.
All right, well, you're an idiot. That's fine. We all have different opinions. Some of them are wrong, but that's fine. Yeah.
Okay,
Thumbs up, kids.
Thumbs down.
Put a poll up on the board. I want to hear what everyone
Sure.
thought of this show.
Those are your options. Thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs